Someone has cut down the Sycamore Gap tree. What does the law say? What does it all mean? Here's a quick recap. In the early hours of Thursday, 28th of September 2023, someone drew a white line on the Robin Hood tree and expertly cut it down with a chainsaw. That tree was famous and loved. The tree is about 30 miles west of Newcastle. Pretty remote, but there's a car park less than a mile away. 15 minutes walk on a windy night with a full moon. It took minutes to fell 300 years of timber. Two people have been arrested so far, but nobody has been charged. One was a 16-year-old boy and the other was Walter Rennick, a 69-year-old pensioner, a former lumberjack who was recently evicted from his farm. He denies it. I think there'll be one more arrest, because for this crime, you need tree fellers. So, how does the law prosecute someone for chopping down a tree? There are a few options. The bad guys could be prosecuted by the Forestry Commission for felling a tree without a licence under the Forestry Act of 1967. But the police are going for Section 1.1 of the Criminal Damage Act 1971. If PC Plod ever manages to catch the bad guys and get the evidence to prove it, then the prosecution barristers are going to lay it on thick. Most famous tree, most photographed tree, worldwide shot, public outrage. Biker summed it up beautifully and best. The culprit, he said, has murdered a sentinel of time and the elemental spirit of Northumberland. The maximum sentence for criminal damage is 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $2.5 grand. Even a defendant with no previous convictions is going down. The public in this case, the public rightly demand severe retribution. I'm a solicitor. My job is defending people. I do it every day. I can't tell them what to say. I plead with the court for clemency. In a case like this, it's hard, very hard. I would suggest a prison sentence is inevitable, but it's worth bearing in mind that people are very, very rarely, in my experience, just plain evil. There's a story behind every crime. In court, I try to be upbeat and optimistic about my clients, so let's try to find something good in all this. What's this story really all about? Why the sudden public outrage over a tree? Don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous. I love trees, I get it. The local people loved it, tourists are drawn to it. But it was a Kevin Costner movie that made it famous and gave it a name. This is a victimless crime, yet we are all victims. The press keeps saying the Sycamore Gap is the most famous tree in England. It isn't. In 2002, though, the Tree Council drew up a list of the 50 best trees in the UK, and the Robin Hood tree didn't even make that list. I did my law degree in Newcastle, so I'm ashamed to say it. If I'm honest, I'd never heard of the Robin Hood tree until the other day when it was cut down. The truth is we have tons of old trees. We haven't even bothered to count them, let alone catalogue them. Nottingham University estimates there are around 2 million ancient, veteran and notable trees in England alone, but no one really knows how many we really have, or even where they are. We have more ancient oaks than the rest of the world put together. Even I managed to find one. I made a video about tree preservation orders and I discovered England's oldest oak tree. If you watch that video, you'll be one of the only people in the world to even know it exists. The Sycamore Gap tree isn't all that remarkable. It isn't all that old or all that tall or even all that fat. Britain's oldest tree is the Fortingall Yew in Perthshire, 3,000 years old. Our tallest tree is the High Douglas fir at Nutcombe Bottom near Inverness, twice the height of Robin Hood tree at over 60 metres and the tallest conifer in Europe. Our second fattest tree is the Bowthorpe Oak in Lincolnshire, a girth of over 13 metres. It's hollow. Every year they stick a table inside it and 20 people have a sit-down, candlelit, 3-course dinner. The truth is we are spoilt rotten with great trees. The real lesson of this felonious felling of fabulous foliage is that we are failing our forests as a nation. As a nation we have been complacent. Maybe, just maybe, something good will come of all this. The English have always certainly seen themselves as nature lovers and pet lovers, but not tree huggers. Maybe, just maybe, this seemingly senseless act of vandalism will change all that and we will now appreciate the trees we still have, and maybe, just maybe, we'll go one step further. It's a precious thing. In the last 100 years we've lost around half our ancient woodland. What's left are small woods and single lonely trees, like the Robin Hood tree. Truthfully, that tree was loved by photographers, tourists and lovers because it was a solitary trunk in an otherwise barren, treeless expanse. If you want to make sense of this mindless destruction, let's not replace the solitary Sycamore Gap. Let's plant a forest in its honour. Please tell me I'm recording, please tell me I'm recording, please tell me I'm recording. Yes, I haven't fucked it up.